What's going on, y'all? Thanks for checking in the Khaliis Take. You know what to do. Hit that like, subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell just so you can get the newest and the bonus content first. But hey, let's just go ahead and jump right in.
We talk about the Clippers, but we don't talk enough about what their starting lineup should be looking like and what their starting lineup should be or what it should look like maybe around playoff time. Now, to me, the Clippers' best starting five should look like this, if you ask me. Now, going into the season, it could be different. So I'm going to give you my opinion based on both aspects. The regular season and the postseason. So now in the postseason, I expect the Clippers to be a little bit more inept and more in tune with their offense and their rhythm and everything that they're trying to do, in regards to winning a championship. So as far as the regular season, now, of course, there's a battle between Reggie and John Wall in regards to the point guard position. But, of course, I think in the regular season, I think they're going to go Reggie more so than John Wall, even though John Wall might be ready to blast off. It's just the fact that John Wall doesn't know the offense. He's not, familiar with the structure and everything of the Clippers and how they play and, how they, go about their business on the court on the offensive side. And I think that's something John Wall is going to get acclimated to, but I think it's going to take time. I don't think I don't think he's just going to walk right in and be the player everybody expects him to be. So in the beginning, or should I say in the regular season or most of the season, I'm expecting the starting lineup to look something like this. I'm going to go in Reggie with as far as the point guard and shooting guard. You can throw in, of course, you can put Paul George there if need be, and small forward, of course, Kawhi Leonard. Power forward, you can have Marcus Morris, and then center, of course, you can have Zubac. And I'm expecting the starting lineup to kind of look something similar to that, in the beginning stages of the season, and maybe even all the way midway through the season. I can see their starting lineup looking something like that, in regards to getting the rhythm going and having John Wall come off the bench and really, figure out his niche and figure out his way in which, he can help the Clippers, ultimately be a well-rounded team to the point where they can't be stopped. Because John Wall, if he's able to give them at least about, I'd say 70% of what he once was, they would be damn near unstoppable. And I think that starting lineup, for the most part, with John Wall coming off the bench, and of course you got Brandon Boston coming off the bench along with T-Man and El Kennard. You're definitely doing some good things there. So I'm anticipating to see exactly how that lineup will flourish throughout the season, depending on health, of course. But I think that lineup will be good enough to actually take into the postseason as well. But I think, honestly, before it's all said and done, I have this weird feeling that Ty Lue is going to do something that a lot of people don't think that he would try to pull off and try to do. And I think the starting lineup that they might have for the playoffs possibly, would be a little different. I think the starting lineup they can have for the playoffs could look something like John Wall at the 1, Reggie Jackson at the 2, Paul George at 3, Kawhi Leonard at the 4, and then you got Zubac at the 5. And I know that excludes Mook, Marcus Morris out the starting lineup. But at the same time, remember, Marcus Morris is one of the most inconsistent ones out of the bunch. So when you talk about inconsistency and you talk about playoffs, they don't match. And that's something that Ty Lue is going to notice even more over time, probably, with Marcus Morris, because we've noticed it the last few years he's been with the Clippers. He's been inconsistent in the playoffs, and he hasn't really shown up to that level, in the playoffs where a lot of people thought that he should, based upon the way he's getting paid. So, when you look at that in its entirety, you got to consider that, that has to be a considerable measure for Marcus Morris, because as I said before, the inconsistency doesn't work in the playoffs. I mean, it can work some in the regular season because you got games that you overlook, games that you can just pass by because you're trying to get through the season. But when you're trying to win a championship, every game counts and everybody has to be accountable for what they do. So I definitely wouldn't be surprised if that lineup is with John Wall at the 1, Reggie at the 2, PG 3, Kawhi 4, and Zubac 5. I can definitely see that being their starting lineup. In the postseason. Now, of course, there again, that would take Nicholas Batum out of the starting rotation. So if you have him in your starting rotation, I definitely don't fault you. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying my starting lineup is the best because your starting lineup or what you think might be better. I just think that based upon Ty Lue and the way he does things and how he, has interchangeable lineups, I can see him trying something like that, especially, with Nicholas Batum getting a little bit older and, you definitely need to rest him more for the playoffs. And, I could definitely see Ty Lue switching the lineup like that, having Reggie and John Wall on the floor at the same time once John Wall really gets acclimated to the team and once he really, really figure out his niche and his way of how to be effective with this team and how to play at that type level. It's going to take pressure off a lot of other players like Nicholas Batum, who has to guard a lot more and who has to be relied upon to score a little bit more. And I feel like, John Wall could take a lot of pressure off a lot of people offensively. So hopefully, John Wall can stay healthy. Hopefully the rest of the guys stay healthy along with the main guy, Kawhi Leonard. And they can really do, a lot of good things. And I'm, hoping that John Wall can turn into the player, maybe not like he once was, but like I said, at least about 70%. Because 70% of what John Wall used to be can help the Clippers take it to another level. And like I said, it could take a lot of scoring load off of Kawhi, PG, even some of the role players like Nicholas Batum and, Marcus Morris, even though, he's inconsistent at times, as I said, even Zubac, where he doesn't even have to try to initiate the scoring at times. So we'll see exactly what happens. We'll see exactly, what lineups Ty Lue puts together. But either way, it's going to be, a great lineup that's on the floor either way because they're so stacked and they have so many pieces. Sometimes sometimes a team can have too many good pieces, but Ty Lue will find a way to implement everybody in there, along with Robert Covington and Norman Powell. I definitely can't forget about them. Hell, you might actually see one of them in the starting lineup, at some point. So definitely don't be surprised. But let's see what happens, and let's see how Ty Lue explores this team with all these weapons he have, and let's see how it works out for them. But hey, that's my take on everything. Leave any comments in the comment section. Check out my other videos if you haven't. And hey, Khaliis out.